that is held by these, what they're called communitarians, is that you don't have a choice once you are a member of the society. The society isn't there to secure your rights, your negative rights, to do your own thing. No, you become like a soldier. You become a conscript to the society and its goals, whoever sets those goals. Well, it could be a Hugo Chavez, like down in Venezuela. It could be a Mussolini. It could be a Shah of Iran, or it could be Obama. Especially in the current atmosphere, where it doesn't look like that President Obama is that interested in whether the public actually approves of what he's doing. Because right now, he has found out that the great majority of Americans don't like all of these bailout moves that he's making. They really believe that when a company is mismanaged or loses its customers, it should go broke. That's the natural course of things. If I no longer want your services, I want someone else's services, you don't get to put a lasso around me and drag me into your sphere so that I provide you with those services. If you go to a barber and you like the barber's services, so you go back, and then one day the barber decides, I think I'm going to go to the Philippines and retire. Well, you don't get to put a clamp on that. You don't get to tell the barber, hey, wait a minute, I really like your haircuts. You don't get to go where you want to go. He's got his own life. That's the right to liberty. That's the right to his life. But with what's happening with the companies, these automobile companies, mostly it's GM and Chrysler, because apparently Ford is beginning to balk at the idea of being taken over by the federal government. They're losing customers. People don't want their cars for whatever reason. I'm not privy to why people are not buying these cars as much as they used to. Certainly probably has something to do with the cost of the cars, the difficulty of getting a loan to buy the car, maybe the design of the car is no longer that appealing to many Americans. Probably they want smaller cars, which come mostly from abroad. Whatever the reason. Maybe they just decided to ride bicycles. But now, instead of withdrawing from the commercial relationship with the car companies, if you try to withdraw, you get taxed, and they get the money anyway. Now, what kind of a relationship is that? Imagine you saying, okay, I'm not buying a car anymore, I'm now going to ride a bicycle. So you ride your bicycle, but they're still getting you to pay for the car. I said, wait a minute, I was planning to save some money here. No, you don't get to do that. Car industries are so important that we don't let you walk away from them. Well, that's involuntary servitude. This is when you are coerced into a relationship you no longer want to be part of. And this second Bill of Rights of the New Deal is exactly the vehicle, the intellectual, even moral vehicle, by which this sort of policy is legitimized. You are not an independent citizen. You're not an independent agent. You don't get to make decisions about your life freely on the basis of your own judgment. You are a team member, and the captain and managers of the team get to tell you what to do. And there is no exit option unless you actually leave the country. And that's a very heavy cost. And why should you have to leave a free country? What the hell is that? I mean, it's a free country. That means you can be here and not be an involuntary servant of anybody, not be anybody's slave. This country has gone through a very, very embarrassing and tragic period where slavery was tolerated in certain portions of it. Now, what does slavery mean? You lose your will about your life. You get to do what your master wants you to do. So you abolish slavery and you introduce the welfare state. I don't know it's such a good bargain. You know, I mean, sure, it's not a severe and individual arbitrary punishment, and acrimony does not prevail as much in a welfare state as in a slave-owning society. But when you have 40 to 50% of your resources that every April 15th are removed from your coffers and put into the federal government so that it can distribute them as it sees fit. And remember, President Obama made it very clear to Joe the Barber, or whatever his profession was, I don't know. He was called a barber everywhere. That there should be more wealth redistribution in the society. Now, a lot of people respond to this. How dare we earned our wealth? But the fact is, we didn't always earn our wealth. A lot of people get their wealth because they're cute. They're put on the cover of magazines, or they get jobs in sitcoms. And they do a bad job, but they're so damn cute that everybody wants them to do the job, or try at least. Well, lots of us are lucky. We have good health, and therefore we are wealthier than others. So it's not a matter of having earned our wealth. It's a matter that it is our wealth. That is, I am myself. You don't get to take things from me, even though I may not use them much. Like maybe one of my kidneys I could give away. But you don't get to take it from me, not in a free country. However, if I'm supposed to contribute as a matter of my natural and forcible obligation to the public wealth, then you might have to give up your kidney if you're not using it, if somebody else needs it. Then you might have to contribute your labor to projects that you don't agree with, because somehow in the democratic process or to the leadership of certain political celebrities, you are required to do so. So I wrote a column after the election of President Obama expressing a certain mixed joy. I mean, it's really something pretty revolutionary and great that someone who's at least partially identified with Black America is the president. And he's a, formidable-looking guy. He actually probably should be on the cover of GQ more often than he's been, because he's so handsome. He's so cool. You watch him the way he walks, Compare that to Bush. It's a really interesting little stylistic body language comparison. But that does not mean that his ideas on how society should be governed should be given a pass. He's not here to mesmerize us into following him. He's not a fascist leader. It's the fascist leaders who insist that people accept their judgment no matter what. And that is not becoming of the president of a free country. Now, the underlying premises of his presidency are, as I say, this notion of positive rights. And the foundation of that notion is communitarianism. The idea that human beings are not really individuals, but sort of members of a beehive. It's a human hive, So they can't have independent thought. Marx believed that when he thought that human beings were species beings, meaning they are all interwoven with the rest of society, members of the species, and of their own choices, they really are ineffectual. They must do things collectively. This collectivism is a very appealing doctrine. A lot of people, left, right, sort of buy into it. When, for example, President Reagan used to talk about how we are a family. I used to squirm. I'm not a family. I have my own little family. I'm trying to take care of them. Don't recruit me to a family that I'm not a member of. And a lot of people have this idea, even when I fly American Airlines, and they say, one world airlines. One world, my